What's up everybody, it's Joe with Joseph Blake Photography, and in today's video we've got more info on the R5 Mark II. So a few things just haven't changed. So we still know it's going to be 45 megapixels. We know that it's going to be a stacked style sensor. We know it's going to have a mega fast readout speed, faster than the R3. We know that even though it's going to be the same megapixels, it will be a significantly improved sensor, and we know that it will be blazing fast, 30 frames per second up to 60 frames a second. We're hearing 120 frame per second burst. And we're hearing about AI features on the autofocus side, machine learning, neural engine type stuff, which we just saw the announcement for the R1 where they talked about having action priority. So maybe we're gonna get something like that in the R5 Mark II. But we're also getting some other information that is new and sounds weird. Okay, maybe not weird per se, but contradictory, let's say. So when I first read the reports, it was gonna have no shutter, 100% electronic, no mechanical shutter. Now we're hearing that it will have a mechanical shutter and that the mechanical shutter speed will be 30 frames per second, which we had seen as the base for the electronic, which is the speed of the R6 electronic, which is super fast. So now maybe we need to take just a little bit of this with a grain of salt, but I am curious to see if this thing will actually have a mechanical shutter. I think it will. We haven't heard anything about the shutter on the R1, and I just don't think Canon is ready to ditch the mechanical shutter. But we'll see. If it is this super stacked BSI mega sensor that can do the 0.08 millisecond readout, maybe it doesn't need the shutter and it can just go ahead with its business. But then that brings us kind of to the final bit, the next thing that we see, which is they're saying that it's going to come with the eye tracking focus system out of the R3. Again, we just got the announcement of development of the R1. It talked all about action priority focusing. Nothing about eye focusing. But we've got the AI rumors in the R5. So now I'm not sure what to believe. My thought is that, could you use both? Would you need both? Right? Would you need the ability to both focus with your eye through the viewfinder and also have action priority focusing? Now, I'm not necessarily saying that you wouldn't need those things, but would you use them in tandem together? Does the rumor of having the R3 IAF have any kind of, does that change the idea of how much focus power this camera will have or what it'll share from the R1? Then there's the rumor that we're going to get an updating articulating screen. I'm not really sure how they would update the screen. I think it works perfectly well. If they can just figure out how to let me flip it that one little bit away without it flipping around. That's, if you've used a Canon articulating screen, you know what I'm talking about. And then it will be borrowing ergonomics from the R6 Mark II. I'm shooting on an R6 Mark II right now. I shoot on an R6 as well. I don't know what that means other than potentially the switch for photo and video. I wouldn't call that an ergonomic feature, but maybe. We also don't know when any of this will occur, when it'll be announced. We're thinking in the next few weeks, maybe tomorrow, maybe end of the month, but definitely before the end of May. So let me know what you think about the idea of a mechanical shutter, and do you think IAF is going to make it from the R3 to the R5 Mark II? I mean, I guess it would be an interesting added feature, but for a camera that normally is hitting, hopefully, in the $35 to $39.99 price range, I don't know that that's a feature that they're necessarily going to have to add if it also has these additional AI features when it comes to autofocus. Does that mean it's going to be getting the Digic accelerator chip that we're getting in the R1 to bring that focus power, that action priority into this camera as well? Does it make sense to even do that? Or does that just chop the legs off of the R1? And these are all questions that we have. because we're all potentially looking to buy this camera, right? This is probably the camera that for professionals and semi-professionals that are buying Canon cameras, this is the one that we're looking at. So if you're doing weddings, if you're doing stills and portrait photography, if you're selling landscape photos, if you're doing videography as well, the R5 is the camera that you're looking at. And if you haven't jumped on to the R5 yet, you're looking at the R5 Mark II as your next potential upgrade. I know I am. And it really comes down to the utilization of your resources. Should you, as a photographer, as an enthusiast, as a professional, be putting your resources, your time, and your money into waiting for this new camera? Or should you maybe save a couple bucks and get the R5 Mark I while it's still significantly lower in price than it has been historically? So let me know down in the comments if you think that this is the kind of spec bump that would cause you to buy this camera. If not, are you looking at the R5 original? Are you looking at the R6? Or maybe you're going to wait for the Sony A1 Mark II. Anyway, let me know down in the comments. Again, I'm Joe. I appreciate you watching the video. If this was interesting to you, if this is the kind of stuff that you're into, go ahead and hit like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.